Hello everyone, today's interview we record from Zambia. Yeah, we are in Zambia and behind us you can see Zambezi River.
Yes,
am I right?
Yes.
That's
Looks
really
like
great.
a painting.
Yes, it is, and a lot of sun and hot here, right? Okay, let's introduce our host to you today. We have Ashwathy Venugopal today with us, and we will record really insightful interview with you for our viewers on our YouTube channel. So Ashwathy is a co-founder and CEO of Avasarshala and the Kectil board member. Thank you very much for your time and being with us today. And also, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself because I know that you have a lot of experience and other things that you are able to share with our viewers.
Thank you so much, Oleksandra. I'm so happy to join you as a guest today. And as Oleksandra said, I'm an international board member of Kectil and I'm from India. I'm an entrepreneur for the last 3.5 years. And apart from being the CEO and co-founder of Avasarshala, most of my time and energy goes into Kectil and the youth of Kectil as a board member. And other than this, I'm also on the advisory board of a technology business incubator in India. So that is also a space where I help other entrepreneurs, other startups in their early stages of their growth. So that is me. Apart from all these things, I enjoy networking and I connect with a lot of founders in India and outside, and that is where I draw in a lot of my energy. And yes, that's about it. There are so many other things, but I think you can go and check it on LinkedIn.
We will leave LinkedIn profile link in the description of this video, so you will be able to find Ashwathy profile LinkedIn and follow to her and see what she's doing in real life. Also, let's move on to another question, really interesting question. Could you tell us more about your role as a leader, board member at Kectil program? Have you get in that role? What are you doing right now? And what's impact you are going to bring to this world?
Yeah, sure. So let me explain you about my role inside Kectil and my journey inside Kectil. So I was a colleague in 2017, 2018, and back then I was a student, and I just stepped into my first job during the time that I was a Kectil colleague. And I had the fortune of being selected as one of the 27 youth members to be at the Atlanta conference in 2019. And since that, from 2018 to 2019, I have actively sought out roles and responsibilities within Kectil to be involved with Kectil and in a way give back to Kectil. So Kectil as a platform has given me so much understanding about leadership that this is one space that changed my life in ways of understanding what other young leaders are doing around the world. So it has given me the energy to start out something and become an entrepreneur. So I wanted to give back and also ignite other young minds who are coming into Kectil. So in that way, post 2019, I was involved as a mentor, as a regional coordinator. Up until 2021, I was regional coordinator to multiple groups in multiple years. And then in 22, I joined as the leadership board member. And since then, I have been contributing in a lot bigger, better ways by not just engaging with the colleagues, but also helping with the curriculum and leading the podcast team, which is one of the biggest responsibility that I partake inside the Kectil group. So yeah, that's me. So answering your question, Oleksandra, you asked me about leadership and what does it mean to me. Leadership is when it's not just when you set an example and lead someone or a group of people. It is also when you identify opportunities for others in your group to become rise and become just like you. So if you are in a position of responsibility that has been given to you by someone, the same way you have to identify other people who are capable of such leadership capacities, build it in them and grow them up. So this is something that I have seen inside Kectil. We always look at how can we equip the next generation? How can we bring more and more young leaders from around the world? And that has been a leadership principle that I've imbibed and I always try to practice within my own leadership realm. So yes, that's what leadership means to me. Getting the next generation ready, lifting up other people with capacities. They will help you and you will help them. And I always believe that collaboration comes in when you start looking at others and empowering each other.
Wow, that's great. It's really inspired story, and you shared a lot
Thank you.
about leadership. What does it mean? But once we start our conversation today, we mentioned that you are co-founder and CEO of Avasarshala. Could you please share us more about what inspired you to do what you do right now, and what was the first step that you done for this company?
Okay, so I'll take you back to 2019. At the Atlanta conference, I was sitting inside the room of 27 youth leaders, and I had this moment of profound, what you would say, fear of missing out or something, when everybody else were really impactful young leaders from their own region. We had seen people from Nigeria, Zambia, from many other parts, Vietnam, many other parts of the world, where they were doing their own part at providing some sort of value to the society, helping others, empowering others. And I was not part of such a social impact or any of those kind of things apart from just helping myself. So it was in that conference, in that room, when I felt that sort of a feeling that maybe I should also pitch in and do something. This sort of a feeling can come to you in any setting, not just the Atlanta conference. It can be in any sort of meeting, any sort of networking sessions where you meet people of your age group who are doing impactful things and you feel like maybe I should also do that. For me, Kectil was the only and the first such conference that I attended, and such a life-changing moment happened while I was at the Atlanta conference. So coming back from the conference, I was always looking at some other way to, give back to the society, start out on my own. And there was a moment where I was asked a question by someone: if you are able to connect with Atlanta, if you are able to connect with Kectil conference, why are we not able to find out such conferences, and why are we not being able to part of such programs? That gave me a thought. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should collect all such opportunities that are happening internationally, regionally, nationally, make it into like a directory, or maybe like a list of opportunities open for young people, and connect young people with that. That is where I started. So this was just a problem statement that came to me, and I figured there was multiple solutions for it, but I chose one of those solutions which I could immediately work on. And I created a very low level prototype, or what we call an MVP, which was just put together all the opportunities happening that week with inside a PDF, inside a document, and send it to people who were of that age group. And I asked them, will you be interested to keep getting such information every week? And they said yes. I asked them, will you be ready to pay for a subscription fee in order to make our platform keep collecting such information for you? And then they said, why not? I didn't stop there. If somebody says that they're ready to pay, that doesn't mean anything. They should pay. You should put a small price to it, and you should actually get that first money or check from your customer into your pocket. That is when you know you have a product. That is when you know you have an idea to work on. So yeah, when I got that validation, when first 10 customers paid me money as a subscription fee to keep getting such information, I decided that this is something that I can pursue. So from 2019, around late 2019, I would say early 2022, up until today, we have progressed from there. We have realized that we could become a platform, we could become an application, we could move on to other modes of generating revenue within the same ecosystem. We could connect with other opportunities happening outside India and bring them over to India, because those events did not have a channel of reaching Indian students. We connected the same thing with students in UAE, and that's how we scaled. So yes, this is how you start. If you can get some sort of a problem statement and you can find a solution that you are able to do, that's where you start.
Yeah, first of all, business needs to make money.
Yes.
Without money, you don't have a business. It's just charity. Yes. And volunteering.
And we don't want to do charity. No.
Yes, that is. When I prepared questions to today's interview, I did research on your LinkedIn profile, and I saw that you got a job on Amazon company. Could you share some experience from this company? How this experience influenced to your life? How it helps you to be you like you are today?
Yeah. So corporate experience always helps you to understand how other bigger companies lead their business. But it does not give you a comprehensive idea because they are humongous companies and you're just seeing like maybe 0.01% of what happens in such companies. It doesn't teach you anything as to how to run a business, but it teaches you a lot of things in terms of how to manage people, how to hire people, how to retain good resources, how to build technologies. And you can even learn from just observing your manager. Maybe you have a good manager. Maybe you can try to emulate them when you build your own team. Maybe they are bad managers. So you have a point or two not to be like them. So corporate experiences are always good to have. It's just like reading a textbook. You have a theoretical knowledge on what can be done in a very, very small scale. But the practical side of it only comes in when you build your team, when you actually launch your startup. And it's a different ball game altogether. So it's just that you can get some information, but you cannot say that corporate experience will set you up to build a company. It's a different thing altogether. Only if you do it on your own, you will learn things. So from Amazon, these are some of the things that I learned. They have a very good, extensive way of hiring the best talent, and they have multiple levels of interview. And I've always noticed that they do not hire the most educated one. They don't look at the degree. They look at people with experience that it may not be the direct experience, it can even be parallel experience, but they are looking at people who takes ownership. So this is something we always used to tell inside Amazon. We don't want people who say that's not my job. So even if it was not in your job description, if you're ready to take ownership and just get things done, that is the kind of people that they want. And that is the kind of people I also looked for my company when I started my company. So that's one thing. The second is Amazon calls themselves the earth's most customer centric company, and they are very true to that word. Even while we are working inside, we know that the customer is God. Anything and everything comes only after pleasing the customer. We make their life very easy within Amazon, and they're ready to spend any amount of money to keep the customer happy. So I kind of took in the same principles within my company. Anything and everything, I would just help them get their problems sorted out. I will make sure that their problems are resolved and they are not unhappy. And then I go back to my team and try to fix it. I will not keep them waiting. In any way possible, small or big, I try to make their immediate problems solved. And then I go back and try to make changes in the product if that was the problem or reason for their unhappiness. So these are two main things that I imbibed as a corporate experience and which I have implemented in my company.
Wow, that's really great. I worked in the different level companies, started from small business, then I moved to medium business, and then I moved to big corporation. And all of these companies, they always look some people that can take responsibilities of their work. They haven't looked for some people that just have great background and can do something really big. Even I got my last job in accounting without no experience in accounting. And I learned everything during the 1 year working there. And I started to be good accountant during 1 year. So that's about that. But also, I saw in your LinkedIn profile that you're a social entrepreneur, right? So could you share some the challenges you faced as a social entrepreneur and how you have overcome them?
Oh, so the very first challenge that I faced as a social impact entrepreneur is to understand that I am working in the social impact space. Wow. I did not understand that. I thought I was working in a commercial startup space, trying to build like every other startup entrepreneur, I thought I was
social stuff, right?
I did not realize there is a social impact angle to what I was doing, because I gained my entrepreneurial knowledge from boot camps and sessions that were happening for mainstream entrepreneurs. Nobody was discussing about social impact matrices. So inside a startup, inside a company, you always look at something called KPIs and matrices that are like the North Star for you to understand whether you're going in the right direction or not. For a commercial startup, these KPIs, that is key performance indicators, are different. And for a social impact company, it is very different.
But they can be combined together.
They combine in a for-profit social enterprise.
Yes.
Yeah. So in an NGO or a non-profit social enterprise, it is quite different, because business and making money is in a different tangent altogether. But for a commercial startup, it's in a different thing. But some of the KPIs of an NGO and some of the KPIs of a startup marry each other inside a social enterprise, which is for profit, which is my company. We make money just like a startup, but for us, social impact matrices are also very important. So it took me clean 1.5 years to even understand that such things exist, to understand what are my social impact matrices. And then I started understanding social impact space, and we moved into it. So today, when I'm talking to entrepreneurs, when I'm trying to mentor them and help them guide their businesses, I always try to make them understand if they are in a social impact space or not. If they are not, then they take a different route. But if they are in the social impact space, I try to teach them how to identify their KPIs and not take as much time as I did. Sorry guys, we had a helicopter
here. That's one of the best interview, I guess, that we recorded in the nature.
Yes.
I'm just thinking that if from this Rio will come alligator to us,
we have high chances of getting interrupted by an alligator, by a hippo,
and by mosquitoes,
and the helicopter. So yes.
But that's really good. You know what I'm interested in? I'm working with the social businesses, and I built my first startup in sustainability, and doing consulting in that way, right? And I'm curious, what kind of KPIs you put to recording your impact into your company? What kind of KPIs you choose for you, and how you calculated it?
Okay, so for this interview, people who are listening in, I'm definitely sure my KPIs for Avasarshala would mean nothing, but I will tell you how I figured it out and what are the KPIs that exist, which you can probably use. So in Avasarshala, benefits for students is very important for us. So how many people we impacted, how many people utilize the, so our platform is an opportunity curation platform, which also means we need to look at how many opportunities were given, how many were utilized, and in how many opportunities did these kids go to a first level or even win prizes. So winning prizes,
it is people, right?
It is people oriented. So it may not be black and white. For us, impact would be just a student looking at it and thinking, maybe I should do something.
So how many students we have first KPI, right?
It's like, for us, the first initial challenge was to track these sort of activities, because nobody is going to come up and tell us that, hey, today I read through the opportunities and decided to do nothing. But we have to track those kind of things. That is where technology comes into place. So those kind of information and data are important for us, and also the normal KPIs like how much money came into the company, how much money we spent on the company, etc. So I would like you guys to go and check out something called theory of change. So theory of change is it's like a canvas, or like it's a tool that you can use.
So it looks like business model canvas?
Yes, exactly. It looks like business model canvas. Theory of change would take in a lot of inputs in terms of are we impacting people? Are we impacting environment? Are we impacting a country? Or are we impacting the next generation? Those sort of inputs can be taken from one side. There would be a place where, or rather, boxes which can help you process that information, and the output that we get are exactly all the KPIs that are important to us. So it would work just like a business model canvas, where you input things that are important, you process it, and you output all the formats like matrices that you would need to measure.
That's really good. And one last question is related to the topic. Do you prepare a CSR report or sustainable report in the end of the year? If yes, have you spread it to your stakeholders, to your clients? What kind of feedback you are getting? Yes.
So for a for-profit social enterprise, we are not eligible for CSR money. A company cannot pay for pay for our activities through their CSR channel. The only way a startup in for-profit social enterprise can get a CSR money is through an incubator or a technology business incubator or an accelerator, or even the governments have their startup bodies, which are also registered as NGOs. So basically an NGO, or in India, we also have something called a Section 8 company. All these are able to accept CSR money. So the CSR money can route through them into the startup. So we would not, as a social enterprise in for-profit space, will not need to file any CSR reports, because that is the job of the accelerator who accepted money on our behalf. So in India, how it works is, all big companies who have CSR funds, they put out an application, or rather they put out a grant competition for startups, and they give this money to an incubator or an accelerator, and this competition for startups is put out by the accelerator. We go, we pitch, and if we are eligible, if we they would have some criteria, like this year we are going to invest in agricultural companies, this year we are going to go for tech companies. If we fit the criteria and if they evaluate us and we win, then 3 or 4 startups are given money divided from the amount, CSR amount, that the corporate had passed to the accelerator. This is how it works in India. It might be a different model in each country.
Yeah, in Europe it's completely different.
So this is how it works in India alone. Disclaimer. I don't know about other countries. But this way, 2 things. You don't have to file a CSR report. You really don't have to, actually give the social impact report to anybody, unless these companies or accelerators require us to do so. Now, I'll give you one other thing, a tip. Although none of this was legally required by my company, we used to create an annual report at the year end and pass it on to all stakeholders. Who are our stakeholders? All accelerators we have been incubated with, any new accelerator that we want to connect with, any companies whom we want to connect with and tell them that we exist, all the people who are potential angel investors. Sometimes we also send it to our champion customers, because they talk about us to other people and they bring in more customers. So they are also our stakeholders. And we won't send it to all the customers. We will only send it to selective customers who will champion for our cause. And there will be other people, like in our business, we have some corporates, some B2B segments, some schools that we were engaging with, some education institutions. All these are stakeholders, and we send these impact report as a way of showing them that we are alive. And there might not be a chance where we get to meet them and tell them that, hey, we did this things, but this would be a way of putting into their inbox that we exist, we did these things. Maybe we did a good job, maybe we did a bad job, but we still are in this environment. And if you think this is a good collaboration, come back to us.
Wow, that's really
guerrilla marketing there.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And right now, I just would like to move on to another topic.
But what is the CSR mode in European countries?
Because in European country,
we would not. I
will share something that from 2025 CSR reports will be mandatory for all kind of businesses. So there already exists form that all the businesses, it not depends if you got grants or you wasn't in the accelerator or not. It not depends. It depends of what are you doing right now. What sustainable KPIs do you have? So you're putting all your numbers into CSR form, and this CSR form is mandatory for all companies in Europe from 2025. So this year they will still prepare for 2025, but from 2025 they will need to sign all these reports to European Union, send it, and European Union will check what kind of impacts big companies doing to their communities, environment, and countries. Small one too, and medium one too. So it started to be a really important thing in Europe, and they starting to controlling it in the high level. So not in the country level, but in the European Union level. Yeah,
interesting to know. Yeah. Good. Okay.
And the interesting thing that almost all startups starting to do sustainable reports from their first days working. So they are doing sustainability, and once they starting to implementing, they starting to record everything in the sustainable reports, and then it will it will change to CSR report. So they need to use UN 17 goals. They need to use ECG principles. They need to use CSR principles. So all of this combined, and they will need to implement it and doing all the steps that they try to do in the business way. So
yeah. So this is a good practice. Why? Because at least what I've seen in startups are they do not think sustainability is important to them, mainly because they feel that it is costly. And they want to create like value immediately, so they will cut corners in terms of making sustainable products unless it is one of the core principles of their product. So sustainability and having this social approach or creating impact socially becomes sidelined, and they probably will not look into it even after they reach a 3-year or a 4-year, even a 10-year mark. Suddenly it doesn't become important to them.
But the interesting thing, if you're not starting doing in the first days, that will be more harder implement after 3 years, after 10 years, you won't be able to implement it into your business processes. You're starting to be a profitable company, but without a sustainability. And it's hard to do sustainability when you have everything, right? And if you're starting to implement some sustainability in your business processes, so it's not like you're doing sustainability inside your company. You're doing sustainability outside your company, like charity, and you're helping some communities with money. So you are not doing that with your employees, because sustainability is also about employees. You're not doing with corporate culture. So it's completely hard process starting to be. It's working the same like with brand. When we're building our brands, personal brands, business brands, it doesn't matter, right? We need to start from the first day. From the first day, we need to have brand colors, logos, everything that will be related to our brand. If we want to have something, so our customers, our people, and everyone won't understand when we, after 1 month, 2 months, year, started to implement something to our company and doing, they will be confused, and they will not understand if they're still going to buy something from you. So it's a lot of related things that we need to understand. Same is going on with sustainability. And sustainability everywhere right now. Everywhere. You cannot hide it. You cannot not to do that. That's everywhere, and that is one of the biggest trend in the world, but one of the important and useful trend. Okay, I just would like to finish our topic about sustainability. We can back it in the separate video of our conversation, okay? And let's talk about more of your experience. I know that you was 75 women entrepreneurs of India. Wow, how you got that, first of all? And how do you think these initiatives like this contributes to empowering women in entrepreneurship?
Okay, how I made it to the list I did not know of the selection process. It was just a news that I received. So I'm not very sure. It was at that time I was into entrepreneurship for 3 years, maybe close to 3 years, or maybe even lesser. But they were looking at all the social impact, like how you were saying. Even when it was not very important, because we did not realize that we are a social impact company, but only much later we realized our social impact angle. But I think from day one we were doing things right in terms of creating impact, in terms of creating value, and identifying the right beneficiaries for our startup. So I think we were doing things right, that we were invited into being in that list, and I'm not sure what was the criteria or what went behind the scenes. But what I can tell you is, super grateful, very grateful, because this was not something that I ever imagined in my life, that I would be part of the 75 women entrepreneurs featured from India. India is a very populous country. We have so many women entrepreneurs, and only, to be part of those 75 is a huge, thing that I covet. It's a big milestone in my life. Secondly, this also means that I am part of a list that has featured other women entrepreneurs whom I admire. So that was something
that's amazing.
In that list, when you see here and there, I'm looking at people that I admire, and I see my name amongst them. I think that was the biggest moment for me. How this helps is, when people see your company and your name among other established women entrepreneurs, your credibility also.
Yes.
So even though this is something that was gifted to me, just received by God's grace, I believe that this is also adding on to the credibility and building, letting people know that, hey, we are here, we have arrived, and we exist. And when you were asking me about what does these kind of opportunity mean to an entrepreneur, right? Apart from adding credibility, this also gives you some sort of validation, allowing you to understand that you're going in the right direction. Not all achievements give you the same validation, but sometimes it also shows you that you're doing something right. If you are understanding what exactly you did right in order to reach into that position, better, because only then you will get that sort of feedback to build that more. If you don't make it into that list, it's not a failure. It doesn't mean anything, actually. It just means that there are other opportunities for you, other spaces where that you may get recognized. And yeah, that's it. So I personally will not recommend anybody to chase such recognitions, build only for those kind of recognitions. It is something that will come to you by virtue of the work that you're doing. So concentrate on your work, and such achievements and such milestones will come your way automatically.
Wow, that's really good. So, as I know, you're a TEDx speaker. Yeah, how long?
So it was in 2020 December.
Wow! Oh my gosh!
Or 2021, I don't remember. It was a December.
Wow! How have you get this opportunity?
So TEDx as a platform. I was also a TEDx organizer way back, so I know we always look at people who have a story to tell. It's not just about our idea, it's not just about the company. They're always looking for inspiring stories or very different ways of people doing things. So if you are a potential TEDx speaker, that also means that you are probably very different from other people. So
wow, that's great.
Always stand out, be different, never be the same.
And what topics do you typically address in your talks?
So in my talks, I get invited for many type of talks. If I'm going for an academic talk, it's mostly always on entrepreneurship. We have a bee going on the camera, so you might not see some parts of us, but listen in. There is design thinking that I usually speak about, business model canvas, setting up companies, early stage, scaling, 0 to 1. All these are academic topics that I deal with. But in my TEDx talk, it was about grabbing an opportunity and how an opportunity can change your life. Other talks I go for are inspirational talks.
Wow.
Sharing my story, sharing my own entrepreneurial story, and sometimes I try to bring in some sort of academic inputs into those, because people listening to my story itself does not do anything to them. So I always try and add some more value to it. That's
that's really great, and you are doing these things until today, right?
Yeah.
How was last talk that you recorded?
Last talk, I think it was day before at
wow,
Zambia conference.
Really? Oh my gosh! It was before your trip?
No, the Zambia conference, the panel discussion.
That was TEDx talk?
No. So you are asking about TEDx talk, right?
Yes.
I only have one TEDx talk.
You have only one TEDx talk.
I thought you were asking me about all the talks that I gave.
All the talks. I know that you had a lot of talks.
Only one TEDx talk, guys. Only one TEDx talk. Yeah.
But you would like to do it again?
Oh yes, TEDx is a very coveted platform, and moving on from TEDx, I would like to be a TED speaker one day, and TED is a different ball game altogether. So yeah, let's see if that works.
Okay, good. Another question. How do you stay motivated and resilient in the face of setbacks, all the challenges, doing all your work, talks, TEDx, Avasarshala, and other things?
Yeah. So people do not always have the same energy level. They are always not motivated. We are people. And even when I'm saying this, I also sometimes forget that I can be demotivated some days. I can be of low energy some days. So it's a learning process. We are not the same person every day. So sometimes when we wake up, we are too lazy. Sometimes we are so disappointed. Sometimes we just had a setback and we just don't want to.
Or just burn out.
Oh yeah, burnout. Burnout can happen too. Burnout is a thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes we are a mess, but
definitely
most of the times there will be one or the other thing, small things that happen in our startup, which is a huge milestone for us. We are moving 1 millimeter at a second, but that's fine. And we try and celebrate all those small moments that make a difference in the startup journey. That's how I stay motivated. We celebrate everything small to big, within the team, between us co-founders. We always try and mark those milestones. So, and also I am involved in a lot of things. Maybe I am a multitasker. Maybe I work that way. If I have multiple things going on at the same time, I'm happier. Maybe it's just me, but I have figured I like to draw energy from interacting with people. So I love people energy. Even if I don't have a networking session or if I'm not sitting around people, I just go to the mall and just soak in the people energy. So yeah, you have to figure out what works for you. Sometimes it's unwinding with a book. Sometimes it's just sleeping or watching Netflix and chilling.
Oh, that's mine.
Yeah. So figure out what works best for you.
Or just travel and visit Zambia.
Yes.
That can help you change everything
that
in
will
your
help
life.
Everybody.
Great. And we're coming to our end of our interview, and we have a little tradition on our YouTube channel. In the end of our own interviews, I always asking about some wishes that you would like to wish our young leaders, some inspiring messages that you would like to give them that will bring them motivation, inspiration, and they will do a lot of sustainable things in their companies, in their small businesses, and their communities.
All right. Well, my wish is everybody at least once try their luck with entrepreneurship. Luck matters a lot in entrepreneurship, and you may get it right first time, you may get it wrong, but you may get it right maybe on the 10th time. But just try and do something of your own at least once. You will find the difference in yourself. You will be a better student, you will be a better employee, you will be a better individual. Starting out on your own is scary, and once you actually do it, you become a very different person. That has been my experience. Now, when I'm looking back, if I had this entrepreneurial experience, going back into a corporate job, I would be a very different employee, very different manager. I have immense amount of confidence now to interact with people. It doesn't matter who they are. I am able to strike a conversation with them. That's my personal achievement, I guess, in terms of, or personal growth, in terms of how I changed personally after being an entrepreneur. Confidence level just increased so much. And also, now I try to look at problems and try to think of how best can this be solved. What can I do? What can someone else do? I started being more collaborative. I'm not afraid of competition. Even if there is someone in my same space, I realize that there are some things that I can do and there are some things I can't do. That means there are a lot of things that I can let go and not choose to do because it's not in my capacity to do. So I pass on such opportunities to other entrepreneurs, other people who are also as talented as me, and I don't always keep such things to myself. Why? Because other entrepreneurs have been nice to me. They have also passed on such opportunities to my way. I've learned from that collaboration is a good thing, and entrepreneurs always rely on each other for that. So be an entrepreneur at least once. If you're a student, best time to start up is now. If you are an employee, best time to start up is now. If you are someone who's thinking about entrepreneurship again, best time to start up is now.
Wow, that's really great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ashwathy, for this really inspired interview, for your time here in Livingstone. We even found time for just recording the interview for our best of the best viewers on our YouTube channel. So, before finishing our interviews, our viewers, I have a message to you. I just kindly remind you that don't forget put like on this video, comment, and of course subscribe on our channel. See you soon in our next video.
Bye bye.